Now, today is May 31st. It's the traditional end, or the unofficial end, of the wildfire season here in southern West Virginia. And just how did it shape up, and how do officials go about preserving our mountains and our area so that if a wildfire does ignite, it doesn't spread very far? Check out our exclusive story. As the spring wildfire season draws to a close here in southern West Virginia, it was slightly more active than last year.
One way for officials to combat wildfires is through prescribed burning.
In West Virginia, 777 fires burned almost 11,000 acres so far this year. When the numbers are crunched for the New River Gorge National Park, 39 acres burned this spring, but that's up from none last spring. Our Storm Watch weather team got an exclusive behind-the-scenes look at the vehicles the fire management team uses to combat these brush fires. This is all thanks to Michelle Faraday on the fire management team for the New River Gorge National Park and Preserve.
This is the Polaris. We also have another one out back, but this is used to mostly scout the fire if you cannot get a vehicle to, like a truck or our engine. And it's also very beneficial to have because it has a smaller pump on here, so you can also get water to the fire.
The fire management team isn't just reactively responding to brush fires at New River Gorge National Park. There's an entire process outlined on how to mitigate the spread of wildfires while also preserving the nature and wildlife here in West Virginia. The team is taking proactive steps even before the height of the brush fire season to minimize leaf litter on the forest floor while also helping to preserve nature and wildlife.
So what we are trying to do is keep fire in these areas to knock down especially the red maple species so that we can give our oaks a fighting chance of regenerating so that they can provide the food mass that we need to feed all of our animals.
Our journey with Michelle took us to Bacchus Mountain, one of 5 planned prescribed burn sites. In the next few years, the hope is to add even more burn units to the 5 already planned and approved.
A tree like this, that could be a good habitat tree. Before the prescribed burn takes place, we would use leaf blowers or rakes to remove the litter or fuels around the base of the tree all the way around, so that fire, when we conduct the burn, that this would be protected. We definitely want to preserve any habitat that we can.
The weather plays a huge factor in being able to plan and carry out a prescribed burn.
That is correct. Much like getting a prescription from the doctor, we have a specific prescription just for this burn. And if one of these numbers or data or parameters, if they are off or not within the scale, then we cannot carry out this burn.
We're at a prescribed burn site in Bacchus Ridge. And Michelle, how do you monitor the weather in real time?
So even before the burn, we request a spot weather forecast from the National Weather Service, and that's usually a couple days before the burn actually takes place. And then we also do it usually the day before, and then also on the day of. And we also, during the day of the burn, we have someone dedicated to monitoring our weather from the beginning to the end. That person uses instrumentation such as a psychrometer, which is in a belt weather kit that measures humidity. We have wind gauges. We also use a Kestrel, which is a great device that does a lot for us, that does everything: humidity, wind, speed. It even calculates your probability of ignition, which tells you how likely something is going to ignite.
We're out here on Bacchus Ridge, which is one of the prescribed burn sites here in southern West Virginia. We have Michelle Faraday. And Michelle, how long is staff usually out here from the start of the process to the end of the prescribed burn? And how many on staff are usually out here for a burn?
Usually this particular burn, it's 17 acres. It just takes one operational period to conduct this burn, and that's including what we call mop up. So after the ignitions are completed, we usually stay and make sure that there's absolutely no chance that there's going to be any problems with holding and containment. So usually that is within that 1 day period. As far as how many personnel, this particular burn plan calls for a minimum of 13.
Besides early spring before the green-up period commences, trained professionals carry out prescribed burns just ahead of the brush fire season in the fall, which in West Virginia is October 1st to the end of December. Covering southern West Virginia, I'm Chief Meteorologist Chad Merrill.
And Braden Petrie for Newswatch.